Good morning, folks. Saturday morning of Memorial Day weekend, and we've got a few projects that I want to work on today. I want to introduce a couple new tools that I'm going to be using today that I wanted to try out. First is my Zero-G hose. It's a 100-foot hose. I actually saw one of the other guys on Journeys actually use this, and he really loved it, and I figured I'd give it a shot. I've got a really nice hose. It's not old. It's just one of those regular hoses. It's just short, and so whenever I try to get to certain corners of the yard, just based off of where my spigot is on the side, it's just hard to get to. So I'm hoping that this 100-foot hose not only makes it easier to get to all those spots, but also because it's a flexible hose, that it's a lot lighter and it'll just be easier to move around. The other product that I'm going to use is the ProPlugger. And for those of you that don't know, and if you don't know, then it's probably because you're new to my channel, is I have Bermuda grass. And the reason why I'm going to be using this today is because, like most grasses, you can seed it if you want. But because Bermuda spreads through rhizomes underneath the soil, this is actually a perfect product for you to use in bare spots. So what we basically do is we are going to harvest plugs out of the good grass, and I'm going to do it off my hill in the back, simply because the back is very healthy, and also nobody's going to miss it if I do it. So you pull those plugs, and then you can put them in bare spots. And I've got a couple of areas that I really am struggling with. There's one area right over here by my planter that I did a few weeks ago. There's another area back here where there's like high traffic whenever I'm moving wheelbarrows and stuff. And then around my patio in the back, there's a couple of other areas as well. So, and then also at the bottom of the hill where I'm going to do, the plan I think is going to be to try and do a putting green, but that's to be determined. For now, I just need the grass to grow. It's spreading, it's just not spreading fast enough, but I think this is going to kind of accelerate that process. So stick around, take a look and see what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to do some humic acid today, so I'll actually be able to use this and test it out really well to make sure that I've got good coverage all the way around the yard. So we'll probably do this first, do the plugs first, and then I can put humic down. That should help with some of the root growth, and should be in pretty good shape. So stick around. So I've got a pretty good line of grass like right down there that I think is going to be perfect for pulling plugs. And then I'm also going to put in some sand where I pulled the plugs. We'll just follow that process and see how that works out. Sorry about the wind. I know it's windy. So the other thing is I was going to use this 2-inch ring, and I'm actually going to change that out for a 4-inch because it's just not going to be long enough. I didn't even think about that. I mean, I'm at an inch right now for my mowing height, and that's only going to give me about an inch of dirt, so I want to get a little bit higher. Also, if I didn't explain this before, I got this idea from Paul Wade, and his channel is Zoysia. It's a great channel. He's got great ideas. He's got very similar grass, but he does Zoysia, obviously. And so anyway, I thought this was brilliant. So as you can see right there, those are the plugs coming up. So basically the next plug that I do will be where I'm actually going to be putting these plugs in. That one will pop up, I slide it right in, and we're good to go. The other thing I want to show you are these holes and how clean they are. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill each one of these up with some sand. The one thing I didn't think about, and I probably should have been more careful about, was like right here I kind of hit something, and I don't know if it's a rock, but I do have sprinklers. Did the same thing right there, so I really do need to be careful that I don't hit a sprinkler. I probably should have marked those, but I'll just take a little bit of sand and put it into each one of these holes, and I should be good to go. Now, the beauty of this is that because the Bermuda is going to spread no matter what, these holes will be pretty much gone in a few days, especially with all the heat and humidity and rain that we've been getting lately. So this actually works out really well. So as I was doing this, I thought I'd show you guys something pretty interesting. What I noticed was, like, right here is a bit of a little divot of a low spot, right? And so I talked about in my last video how I'm going to level this lawn. Well, check this out. This is why you level the lawn with sand. Is when I put all this sand in, look at what it does. It just kind of works its way through the canopy and gets its way down into the dirt. But that's why we use sand for it, because if I try to do this with dirt, it's going to get caught up and it's not going to want to do it. But see, look at that. Look at how it just kind of disappears as I put it down. But that's basically what we're going to do for the whole lawn, is actually do this and level it so that I can fill in all of these different low spots. There's several of them around here, there. Now, I'm not going to do that today, but I just thought it was kind of interesting as I was working my way on this. But anyway, just a little preview of what's to come with the larger lawn leveling. And these holes will be filled in pretty much in a few days. We won't even, I'd say by next weekend, you'll barely even know that these were here. Let's now take the plugs and plant them. We'll start up here by my patio where you guys can get a good look at it. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we are going to place a plug. And what we're not gonna do is I'm not gonna put plugs everywhere. I'm just gonna give it a good space for it to actually grow into. So keep that in mind. I mean, I'm not trying to cover this. It's not sod, it's just a plug. And then the Bermuda will take care of itself when it comes to spreading out from these plugs. So start with this first one. If you notice, didn't mean for that to happen, but the plug actually came right out. Drop it right in, throw a little bit of sand in there, and we'll be good to go. And I also have to be careful because I do have my drain there. Able to get everything out of there, and then now the rest of these should be able to come out. So this side, it's getting better. In fact, you can see a lot of green and it's spreading, but I'm gonna give it a little bit of a boost with a couple of plugs. And then I've also got the other places at the front, but that's pretty much the process. I won't bore you guys with the details of doing all of it, but at least you get an idea of how these plugs will work in this environment. So stay tuned. Next up is going to be the Zero-G hose, and we'll do some humic with that. All right, don't judge me because I'm sweating to death, but I figured that since I was dealing with growing some grass and I was using the ProPlugger to put down some new Bermuda in a few select spots, the reality of it is on the side of my yard where I have fescue, I can use a little bit more seed. I know what you're gonna say. I know it's not the right time to plant fescue. I get it. However, I'm not going to wait until fall to do overseeding because that's going to be too late. I don't want it to be bare because that just gives room for weeds to grow. So the best way to prevent weeds is to just have a nice lush grass. And again, we have a boatload of bugs. Today is so stinking humid. So I'm just going to put down a little bit of fescue, going to do a little overseed in the existing spots on both sides of my yard, and it'll be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Zero-G hose to this existing hose. They're both about 100 feet, and this will give me enough room for me to be able to run the hose anywhere I want in the yard. I can go all the way to the back corner, I can go all the way around the side, and then I'll still have my little flex hose in the back if I just need something quick on the patio. But this is probably going to be the best solution. So far, in just unpacking this hose, it is a lot lighter weight than this beast. Even though this is a great hose, it doesn't kink. So let's see how it works out. I am going to be spraying, so I do want to make sure that this is tight. And I am going to put the little ball joint on the end of this when I get there. For now, this is the way we're going to take care of it, and we'll test it out today as I spray some humic on the yard. So stay tuned. All right, we'll leave the ball joint on here, and I'm going to go pressurize the hose. Take this back so I don't forget it. All right, so the hose is pressurized, and so far I like it a lot. It's very lightweight, even when it's full of water. I'm going to go ahead and say that one of the things I don't love about it, it is very easily kinked. So I'm going to have to watch that, but because I've got 200 total feet of hose between the two, I won't be yanking on this that much, so I think it'll be okay. But man, it is super lightweight, even with full of water. Today I'm going to do 3 ounces per 1,000, which means that for the front and the sides, it'll be 6 ounces total. And then I will fill it up all the way to 32 ounces to spray along the whole back. So I did put seed down yesterday, if you recall. So this is a great way to water it in, even though the sprinklers were on last night. So we'll just keep going, get the whole front and side, keep testing out this hose. I'll get back to you. We'll just finishing up here, and I really do like this hose. I mean, it's super lightweight. It's not too difficult to pull around the yard. Like I said, the only thing I don't like is it is a little bit easy to kink. I didn't have any issues with that simply because of the fact that it was pretty long with this other hose, and so it never really had a chance to bind up against anything. But overall, I'd recommend it, and I may even get another one for the back of the house. So anyway, that's pretty much it for today and yesterday. Yeah, with all of the plugging yesterday, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it is like a really cool tool, but I was surprised how tired I was at stomping that thing to get those plugs out. But I think it's gonna look good. I watered it last night, I put the humic down. That's gonna help with a lot of the root growth on those plugs. Sure, I'll give you an update and give you a sneak preview of how everything is progressing with those plugs. That's it for today. Got one more project I'm going to do tomorrow, probably. Maybe even start this afternoon, but that'll be for another video, so don't worry about that. And but if I don't talk to y'all, have a great rest of your Memorial Day weekend. Have fun with family, enjoy some barbecue, and the beverage of your choice. So with that, I'll leave you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Have a good one.